Alright guys, I am with Kara Brown and she swept the Mantic world literally. She won the tournament. So Kara, what army did you play?
I played Abyssal Dwarves with Nature Allies.
That is funny because everybody says Abyssals are underpowered, and yet you somehow used an army list that they said that the average troops are weaker than the other ones, and somehow used it to your advantage.
Well, Abyssal Dwarves, so they're pretty good. I didn't use a whole lot of the Dwarves. I used a lot of Golems.
Golems are awesome.
Yeah, and I used the big Golem too, which people don't usually like.
Okay.
But I didn't have a ton of war machines. I had a few.
That's unusual.
I had 3, and 1,500 points. That's really not that many. I thought about putting more in, but I decided to stay a little more
punchy.
balanced.
Sure.
I was afraid I'd get overwhelmed if I built a one-trick pony army.
Which is what I did, and that's exactly what happened.
So my army adapted well to different situations, and it did really well for me. The dice gods were on my side.
That's awesome, which totally helps. Now, what was your first? Do you remember your first opposing army?
It was elves.
Elves are pretty tough.
Yeah, and I've lost to elves before with a smaller version of this army. But the elves didn't have anything that could punch through the golems.
Ah, so you used him as a shield and then just wrapped around him?
And they had a group of cavalry, and it did pretty well, but they found themselves surrounded by a couple lesser obsidian golem units, and that was all she wrote for them. And,
awesome.
And the shooty elves just couldn't get through it.
Nice.
Although the Mage Queen caused me some problems.
Okay, well, let's move on to 2. Who was your second army you took down?
The second army was Kingdoms of Men.
Oh my god, that is another tough army.
Yes, and it was almost all cavalry. And
fast.
I was very, very concerned about it. It is a tough army, and I think he had some bad rolls, and
thankfully
he had a little bit of trouble getting through my high defense golem units too. And early on, my war engines didn't hit.
So that's never good with a fast army.
Yeah, my basilisks had to pick up some of the slack. And it was the MVP of the tournament by far. My Nature Basilisk did really well, and got a nice side charge in with my air elementals. And
any side or rear charges are amazingly fun in this game.
And that really turned the tide of the battle.
Cool.
So that side charge and a couple good zaps really turned the tide. And then the 4th turn, my war engine started hitting. And
nice.
That was pretty much it at that point.
Yeah, just mopping up. Okay, so for the coup de grace, the 3rd army you took down, who were they?
They were undead, and it was John Carter undead. And John Carter and I have a unique relationship. We've played a lot.
Okay.
Because he's from my area, he's very, very good. And he has decimated one of my armies in the past, and I've killed his before. It's usually a knockdown, drag-out fight.
Those are the best kind, yeah.
And now this one was a little more one-sided than it tends to be, because we're usually counting up points at the end.
Right.
This one I actually tabled him, but...
Whoa, you tabled him!
Yeah, I've never tabled John before, so...
Sweet!
But he has a great army. I think it's very, very solid. Bad dice for him, my dice were on fire. 4s, 5s, and 6s, I didn't roll any 1s or 2s the entire game. And,
oh, that's frightening.
And the war machines were hot. They removed a endless zombie swarm in one turn.
Oh my god, you want to talk about a nerve test. Holy mackerel. You know what's funny is we heard stories about you before we even came. They said, there's a lady who's really, really good, and I was praying to the dice gods that I am not going to be like in front of your death rolling army. And you came through. You took the whole thing. That's amazing.
I met some really great people here, so some friends and made some new friends.
Yeah, that's the great thing about the Mantic community.
And I like that. I like that Mantic is much more positive, and you know, we teach each other and we learn from each other. We all
Very
get
much
better.
so. Yep.
So that's really nice about how, you know, what we do and how we play here. So I'm glad we got a demo running here. And
Yep, we're gonna be playing it all day. Awesome.
Hopefully they'll be here playing with us next year.
Absolutely. Kara, it was a pleasure to not play with you, but to meet you.
Thank you, thank you.
So thank you so much. And here's her cool stuff. And we both had a good laugh because I have that box set and so does she. But now she's got two. I'm so jealous. But look at this lovely plaque that Mantic made for her. And I'm sure she's going to get a couple more of those.
And that'll go in my game room.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Kara.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.